coming with your 2 decades of experience,
Right.
definitely I'm sure like it is going to help a lot of people. And you spoke about how can actually you reduce the cost for the companies through the compliance and all of this. So how does this typically happen? Like, what are the areas that you work and support people on so that they reduce the cost?
First of all, that if we will see in the bigger way, there are different ways, and means, for example, it is a thought process. For example, many times this happen. I'm not particularly saying about any organization, but but that I'm saying based on the warning letters, reading the going through the warning letters which are given to the company, that many times the decisions are taken that to save the cost, people compromise the compliance and quality of the product, right? They say that okay, if we will because might be many times it happens that to manufacture the good quality of the medicines, there some cost is also involved, obviously. So then only the quality product is manufactured. So many times this happens that to save the cost, the people do the cost cutting, and they do not take the actions which are to be taken for the quality and compliance, right? So what happens, the quality of the medicines it reduced, right? So the quality of the product is not good, so market complaint is going to come, then recall is product recall may happens, might be possible that the regulatory inspection may fail. So the cost of not manufacturing the good quality of medicines, the cost of not following the compliance is very very high, because once the enforcement actions are taken against any company, the business is also going to be in loss. The brand of the company is also uh, it is also not good for the brand of the company. So in this way, for 1 year, or it may take the more time to come out of those non-compliances and enforcement action for any company. And during this period, um, a lot of commercial loss happens to that organization, right? So so first thing is that to develop this thinking, that to manufacture the good quality of the product, cost of manufacturing the good quality of the product, the cost of compliance is very very less than cost of non compliance. So for that we have to follow the good manufacturing practices, right? So by implementation of the CGMP, that cost is automatically reduced, right? In this way, right? This is one thing. And another thing is that there are many problems on the site. The reason of that non-compliance is nothing but the simple things. We have to identify those factors, that what is the reason of that non-compliance. It may be not be technical, right? So many times I figured out the problems, the reason of which was not the technical problem, the reason for the human error, because many times non-compliance created to the human error also. So many times the reason of human error was even technical. These were very simple things. I have explained all these things in my book. So currently it is not possible to explain everything in detail. So many times it is not the technical reason also. So identifying those factors which are not even related to the technical, and which is not related to the commercial also. So by finding out those factors, we can reduce the cost of the company, because people, means whenever any non-compliance happens or any deviation happens, so what happens that deviation happens, so kappa is taken, means in pharma we call it as corrective action and preventive actions. So corrective and preventive actions we take, but if the this kappa is not proper, right? If, for example, mm, If I have headache and I am taking the medicines for someone else, some other diseases, right? So that my pain is not going to disappear, right? So similarly, if we will take the kappa and it is not as per the root cause of that non-compliance, so kappa will not be effective. Finally, problem is not going to solve. प्रॉब्लम आपकी सॉल्व ही नहीं होगी, यानी मतलब हम what happens that any deviation happen or any investigation is performed in industry, so we have to find the root cause of that problem, and based on the root cause we take the action. यदि रूट कॉज ही प्रॉपर नहीं है तो कितना भी आप कापा ले लो, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, राइट? If the true cause of any disease is not diagnosed properly, so even giving the any costly medicine, it is not going to be cured, right? So one has to take the proper kappa, and for that actual root cause of the problem is to be identified. In that way we can do a lot of cost saving, and many times in hurry and to meet the timelines, the actual root cause is not find out, and many times investigations are not performed properly, and those are the reason of many warning letters which are given to the pharma industry. Those things are happening, and many times that no, any investigation is not extended to the all batches of that product or impacted batches of the product. That is also one of the reason that companies are getting warning letters. Means there are many factors from which we can do the cost saving for the organization, and but it is the wisdom of the person that how we identify the things which are doing cost saving and which are doing cost cutting but creating the major non compliance and costing more to the company. So that wisdom one must be having, and it is necessary to keep the balance between which is actually required and unnecessary expenses. Also, company should not do unnecessary expenses for the sake of compliance. Also, so one must have the wisdom to identify the things that which really matters for the compliance and the quality.
Right. Makes absolute sense, right? Rather than like paying for it later and not being able to correct it, right? So you go with the
Yeah.
compliance and then make sure, okay, things are fine. And one important point you also made is one thing is like you do the compliance so that like your quality and all of that is good and you don't have to bear the cost later. The other thing you said is don't do compliance for everything. There is no requirement of certain compliance, right? And then you wasting that money or time and efforts also is something that is going to burn your cash and time. So that way, getting an expert advice or getting that consultation would definitely help. So that is
Yeah.
very profound here.
Yeah, one must develop the thought process in every quality professional, regulatory professional, and every person working in industry. One should develop our thought process to identify these things, because every time it is not possible in routine that someone we will be having someone to ask. So we have to develop ourselves thinking in that direction.